food tracks, nothing. I had to cross a pretty good sized creek to get back in here. Look at this. Crossing this ravine that flows into this big creek. I got crops that I'm getting ready to make my way towards, but that's exactly where these runs are going. It's all thick. It could all potentially be good bedding, so I just gotta work towards these crops and see what I can find. There's an easier access to the crops off the road. This is a back way that I could sneak in on them without winding the deer that I'm trying to hunt. So keep looking around, see what we find. Never fails. Find a spot you like, dadgummit, and so does somebody else. You gotta expect that though when you're out on these pieces of public. That's a ladder stand if you can't tell. Right there. Right there's the ladder, there's the seat. Turns out that wasn't completely a deer trail. I believe that's somebody's trail walking in, but I never saw any boot prints in the mud. I could keep going deeper, but I'm already way back in here. They might be coming from some private land just across the creek, because this is a haul. But granted, they're not carrying a stand. They've already got one set up. They did the hard work one time, and now they're back in here and they're gonna reap the benefits. It's a dang good area. Surprisingly though, I haven't seen any buck sign yet, but I guarantee if I keep through here, it gets thick, and I guarantee there's some good buck sign back in here. I'm gonna ease on back out, maybe try and scout some other areas. I was just walking through here, back towards the vehicle, and I seen this nice little green opening. And I said, I'm gonna walk in there, I guarantee I jumped something up, and sure enough, there was a doe. I don't know if you can see it, right there, right above my finger. There's a stand. It's maybe 10 feet off the ground, if even. Makes me think it might be gun hunters, but that doe was literally bedded 5 yards away from that stand. So it's nice knowing these are in here. I got a good plan to try and hunt the other side of them and let them push the deer to me when they come in. So I'm gonna get out of here and go scout that area and see what it looks like. Wow, kept walking. Check this out. There's a blind right here, right off the creek, not far off of that green, lush, leafy stuff I just walked through. These guys are all up in here. I mean, it seemed like a good area, but seeing this, I know exactly what to do. I'm gonna slip around the backside and give that a check for sure. So for that, I'm gonna have to park right on the main road, busy road, but gotta do what you gotta do, you know? Gotta do what you gotta do, so I'm gonna scurry out of here. I followed them guys' trail out, and they've done built themselves a little bridge here to get across the creek. I'm sure they're parking exactly where I parked too, or like I said, they're coming off of this private, but man, it's no secret where they're at. I walked right by this little bridge on the way in, would have never thought to even climb right there on those roots, but they got a spot carved out here. I'm gonna get in behind them. I'm not gonna come back in here and stink up their spot, hunt on top of them. That's just not how I roll. I'm sure if you're a serious hunter, that's not how you roll either. The spots I want are so obvious that people overlook them, or they're so deep that nobody's willing to go there. So these guys, they got the right idea, so I hope the best for them, but as I said, I'm gonna try and use their pressure, mainly in the evening, because I'm hunting a crop field here, which the crops won't be up much longer, but hunting that crop field and then I didn't see any oaks or acorns up in there. Once those crops are gone, hopefully I can get in there possibly tomorrow evening and get set up on those crops, and hopefully those guys will come in for an evening hunt and push all those deer right to me. Using other people's pressure can be a huge advantage when you're out here trying to chase these whitetails. Well, I'm back here at the truck, so I'm gonna hop in it and shout at y'all later. I was supposed to just be down here scouting. That was the plan. But, I mean, I can't resist. So I'm tucked away in this little tree that I was able to climb because I didn't bring my stand. And I'm maybe 10 feet off the ground. I normally don't sit on a field edge, but it's more of an observation sit to try and find out where these deer are coming into this bean field the most. It's a cut bean field. I got private ground back behind me, a creek separating us. There was a real good heavy run coming out of the creek. I'm talking beat down into these beans. They're cut beans. But they left probably, I don't know, 20 rows. I mean, it's probably 20, 25 feet wide of beans that they left all around the outer edge of the field. Hoping I can figure out how these deer are coming into here, and then I would have loved to hunt that heavy run, but the wind's just not right. I had to get on the other side of the field to try and catch something coming out so they don't wind me. To hunt that real heavy run, hold on, let's backtrack for a minute. What really kills me is that creek. It's no ordinary creek. I mean, it's so hard to find a place to cross, and it's freaking deep. Really deep. So I might end up getting some waders and coming out here again and trying to find a spot shallow enough to cross with waders. But I'm gonna sit here till it gets dark and see if I can't see where these deer are traveling into this field the most. You can kind of see the highway, but I'm tucked back in here where I think these deer feel safe coming out. So hopefully I can pinpoint where they're coming into this field and make a move on them one evening soon. Not one deer came out into this field. I know they're coming out here. They're just, they're doing it. They're doing it after the sun goes down. That's exactly what I suspected. I'm gonna have to get out here if I want to hunt this area with some waders. Get on the back side of that creek. That's all there is to it. By the time they're getting here, it's dark. I'm kind of gonna be halfway going in blind tomorrow morning. Scouted the one spot that guys were already all up in there. Didn't do much scouting here, just walked the edge of the creek. So, see y'all in the morning. I got a curious squirrel. He's trying to figure out what the heck I am. He just jumped into my tree. And he keeps coming closer and closer. Out here scouting with Dad. Some new ground we've not ever checked out before. Found a lot of good buck sign. This is the freaking buck headquarters. We just had a doe jump up, and she must have not realized where we were coming from. Right now our wind's good for this thicket. There's a real big thicket we're walking around the edges of just to try and find buck sign coming out of it. We don't want to get back in there and disturb anything inside the thicket. But this doe just jumped up and charged right at us. I wish I would have had the camera ready, man. I thought she was gonna run me over, and then at about 8 or 10 yards, she darted into the thicket. Dad didn't have an arrow nocked or his release on. As she was running towards us, I was going draw, draw, draw. We're gonna be on a little more alert now, though. Like I said, the wind's perfect. We might jump something up and get a shot, but right now we're just trying to set up a spot for the rut. It's freaking hot out here. Did some scouting with Dad. Found a real good area where some bucks seem to be bedding. Backed out of there. Dad went ahead and left and went home. I went to another area here. It's almost 6 o'clock. I've only got an hour of daylight left. And I literally just got set up in my tree. The first area I tried to go, I parked in the front of this cut bean field and walked in. When I got to the back of the bean field, there was another pickup truck there. And the trail they were parked on, I thought for sure I knew where they'd go. So I tried to go around a different way because I'd already walked so far. And I walked right in on this guy. And so I was like, okay, I know where he is. Tried to go to a different area. Walked right in on another guy. So I completely left out of there. Wish me luck. Doe down. Wasn't even in a stand half hour. That's how we do it. I jumped one up on the way in. And then had 4 come in on me. She was the first one to give a good shot, so. Burning up, pouring sweat. Needed that though. Who needs a gym when you got this going on, you know what I'm saying? Can't beat that. Still light out. Deer down, field dressed, drug out, in the truck, heading home before it's even dark. I think that's the first time that's ever happened to me on an evening hunt. Bumping into them other fellas is probably the best thing that could have happened. Which I didn't want to drag a deer out of where I bumped into them anyways. It was freaking nasty thick, way back in there. Bright side of that is I could have just drug the doe to the nearest bean field edge because it's all cut, and I could have drove in there and picked her up. But anyways, that's neither here nor there. Well, I got to get home and get this thing hung up, get some ice in the cavity, and call her a day. Adios.